What is going on with Bitcoin? Is this actual weakness in the market, or is this just a lull before we hit new all-time highs? Guys, welcome to Empire Trading Academy. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not already, and let's get into this. First and foremost, guys, we're going to look at technicals, and then we'll go ahead and look at some on-chain. So as you've been watching Bitcoin for a little bit, we've kind of just been tracing back and forth between 59 and 54, 53 and a half thousand dollars. And I know that people are starting to get a little bit impatient, all right? But do not get impatient during this time, guys. So first, on a smaller time frame, we can look at it on the 4-hour, but on our structure, on our immediate structure right here, we have an inverse head and shoulders forming. So that's looking perfect right there, okay? In this same structure, we have positive divergence on the RSI. That is bullish, okay? Now, in this structure, as a part for the head of this inverse head and shoulders, we use this ascending support, this ascending trend line used as support perfectly as support on this structure. And so that is increasingly bullish. And I want to just show briefly, guys, this inverse head and shoulders structure. We call it an inverse head and shoulders, which is the name, and that's the structure that we want to look for. But what is this saying? It's saying that the market is showing an immediate support here, followed by a break of that support, and then ultimately leaving this as the final local bottom before we see upside, a test, a new higher low, and then we continue to push higher. And so it's this last shoulder that gives confirmation to the market of a higher low, that we go ahead and gives confidence to the market to push this higher. Okay, and so this inverse head and shoulders, along with holding this ascending support, this ascending trend line, okay, is beautiful. Now, if we go a little bit deeper, the thing that I love about this is on the smaller time frame, on this smaller retracement, we're holding this 236 level right around there. So that's positive. Okay, we're not breaking really far to the downside. And then on our overall retracement, fib retracement off of our high, okay, off of our mid-cycle top, okay, we're holding this blue line, this 786, extremely important and a beautiful retest. You see that we've just stair-stepped our way up this fib retracement, the 382, perfect retrace. Broke through, made a higher high, and now we're retracing back to that 786 before we go ahead, in my opinion, of pushing and making all-time highs again, okay? And then, as I said, with this positive or bullish divergence on the RSI in this structure, where price action is not following this, right? We actually have a lower low here, or ultimate low. However, this low on the RSI is higher here. So we have this positive divergence forming on the RSI. And so this is looking increasingly like a bullish structure. Okay, so technicals, guys, still looking absolutely fine. Okay, if we were to break this ascending trend line, if we were to break this 786 and then a new lower low, that would definitely be bad. But we would continue to look on and continue to monitor our on-chain data to make sure that the overall upward trend is not broken. Okay, now that we have that set, guys, let's take a look at some on-chain to see exactly where we are and if we are going to continue this upward trend. Okay, first and foremost, SOPR, spent output profit ratio. The coins that are being sold, are we in profit or are we at a loss? Okay, we have this one line, or our one kind of retracement point or baseline, right? If we're in a bull market, we're above 1, and that means that overall the supply is being spent in profit. If we're below, we are overall bearish, right? And we are overall supply is being spent or sold at a loss. Okay. Now, what we want to look for in these bull markets, right, is we want to use these. We have big impulse. We have moves up away from 1 And then in any sort of correction, we have a retrace back to 1. Okay. And in bull markets, we get this retrace back to 1 before our next impulse move. Okay. You saw it here, right? Move out of bearish territory above, impulse move up, and a retrace back to 1 before we started our next impulse move. Impulse retrace back to 1 on a correction. And then we go ahead and then we just went parabolic from there, right? Not quite parabolic, but this is our big impulse move. Okay. And then as we get deeper into the bull run, we retrace back, but not quite back to 1 because more and more coins are being spent at a profit instead of a loss. Now, what's happened here? Out of our accumulation phase, we bounced up, came out of bearish territory for the short term, bounced up to bullish territory, had our impulse move. And what did we do on our correction? On price action. On our correction on price action, we retraced and use this one metric as support, right? Next impulse move on our price action, we bounced up on this metric. And what are we doing on this current retrace or current small correction? We're using this one as support, okay? With our most recent, zoom in a little bit, with our most recent one now starting to hook up. And as long as we hold this, this is definitely bullish, okay? It's lining up perfectly. What I want to show you also is that if we look at this point in time, also, guys, we kind of came out of this bearish territory bottom, local bottom of the bear market. Okay, we had this impulse move, kind of had a top here before some selling off or at least some flat correction. Okay, and then a second top here with our impulse move up, a little bit of a correction again before we started. Now, you continue to hear us say this is a possible restart of this market, right, in 2022, where we see a majority of it. Could be the other option is that we get that big parabolic move in Q1, and that's it. Okay, but what I am seeing is that these two moves are very similar to these moves right here. Both in price action and in our on-chain data as well. Okay, and so you have these two initial tests of this one retrace line. Okay, just like we did here. All right, we had two tests before out of the bear market, impulse, two tests before our big move. Out of the mini bear market, impulse move, retest, impulse move, retest, and then I want to see higher highs off of this. All right, so this is looking very, very good. Next, guys, exchange balance on exchanges. This is continuing to dump, right? This is continuing to fall. If coins are not on exchanges, there's no way to sell. All right, and so you can see here at our distribution top here in May, we saw that these started on our lower high in price action. We started to see these come back on. Okay, and then as we started to come over that top, we continued more and more. And so that's what we would want to look for. But as of right now, we're continuing to fall. And what this is doing is this is reducing the supply, right? We're reducing the liquid supply that's able to sell. And so I want the next metric that I want to show you guys is a T3 metric. It's ones that we usually save for our membership. If you haven't seen that, go to our website, guys, empiretradingacademy.com. And we just started basically a membership group, a subscription, and I give you updates on all the T3 metrics multiple times a week. And it just gives the T3 metrics, guys, instead of you having to pay $10,000 a year to access them, we go ahead and give you updates on those. I give them personally myself, and keep you up to date with the deepest level of on-chain metrics. All right, and so I'm going to give you a little taste of that right here. That coincides with this, right? So coins coming off of exchanges, right? More and more. And so here, guys, we're looking at liquid supply change, okay? And so when we're talking about the liquidity of Bitcoin, we're talking about how much of the supply of Bitcoin is available to sell, okay? How liquid is it? Now, if we're in the green, that means it's very, very liquid, all right? Very liquid. There's a huge dump of supply of Bitcoin. And so this is when supply is way increased, right? Demand is going to decrease, and therefore in this financial market, it's going to price is also going to decrease. Okay, and so vice versa, if you have supply, the liquidity becoming net negative, that means illiquidity is going up, the illiquid supply is going up, and so you have these supply squeezes which happen. So just like here, you have the liquid supply is net negative, and so the supply of Bitcoin is being sucked up. There is no, well, this is an exaggeration, but there's very little supply of Bitcoin, and therefore demand is going up. And in a financial market, price is going to go up if demand is going to go up. And so you see what we saw here and here, right? You have the liquid supply going further and further down, right? And so price action is doing the opposite, right? And so we have liquid supply change going down, price action going up. And what do we have here? We have the illiquid supply, liquid supply going further and further down. Illiquid supply is going up, and so illiquid would be stuff like in wallets. The liquid supply would be coins going onto exchanges, because that's really the only way to sell. And so what this metric does, the liquid supply, is basically takes long-term holders. It takes coins going into wallets. It takes whales buying, and so are they sucking up that liquid supply, and how much? And this is doing just that. And so what do we have when we have this metric in the red? We have price action that's going up, price action that's going up, and so it's increasingly bullish. So this is looking perfect. And again, this is a T3 metrics, guys. Go check out our website, empiretradingacademy.com, if you want to take part in the membership group for that. And so this is going to take us over to relative unrealized loss, guys. And so what the most important thing I want you to notice from this is our trends from this metric, okay? And so we're looking at unrealized loss, okay? So positions have not been closed out, right? But they have been, that's what they are in the account. And this is a metric just compared to the overall market cap of Bitcoin. And so we can kind of put it in this ratio. Now, what I want you to notice is we have these big moves, right? So unrealized loss and price action is deep and finding a localized bottom. Okay, so big impulse move, and it's going to be the reciprocal or the opposite of price action. Okay, and we price action goes up, this comes down, obviously, because this is loss. Okay, so loss is going down as price action is going up. Okay, and then you have these what tends to happen is the deeper that you go into the bull market, these impulse moves on the metric, right? This metric goes basically lower highs. Okay, and so we have this price action move, right? Or this little bottom here, okay, and definitely a lower high from here, right? And then we have this correction again, and again a lower high from this metric. Okay, now what do we have here? In our big local bottom, okay, mid-cycle bottom, we have this big impulse move at a loss. A lot of coins are at a loss right here. Okay, and then we have price action going up. This continues to fall, and then in our correction here, we have this going up again. Okay, but just like we had here, a lower high. Okay, now what are we seeing here on this latest correction? As long as we do not see further downside, this is going to be another a lower high, right? And so we have this lower high again. And so what did we see after that lower high here? We saw parabolic moves or a big impulse move. Majority of our impulse move for this bull run. Okay, and so we will be looking to see and look for that, guys. Other than that, guys, that is it. Still remaining bullish. Things are still looking good. Do not be swayed by the short-term price action and consolidating. If you have not checked out our website, go check that out, guys. We have tons of trading tools on there. one-on-one stuff, courses, memberships, all things to help you to trade better and to really be able to navigate these crypto markets. All right, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you have not, and we will see you in the next video.